Most people think an air purifier is a magic box that makes bad air disappear. It isn't. In most homes, it is doing something much simpler and much less mysterious. It pulls air in with a fan, pushes that air through one or more filters, and then sends cleaner air back into the room. Then it repeats that cycle again and again. That is the whole idea. No magic. Just moving air and trapping particles. But that simple idea creates a lot of confusion. People hear words like HEPA, carbon filter, ionizer, CADR, PM 2.5, and suddenly a basic household machine starts sounding like a science project. So in this video, I want to make it very clear. What exactly is an air purifier? What does HEPA really mean? Why is 0.3 microns the famous number? What can a purifier actually remove from the air? What can it not remove very well? And how do you tell the difference between a useful machine and a misleading one? What an air purifier actually is at the everyday level. A portable air purifier is basically a box with a fan and a filter inside it. The fan pulls air from the room into the machine. The filter catches some of the particles moving through that air. Then the fan pushes the filtered air back out. Portable air cleaners are mainly meant for a single room or area, not for an entire house. That point matters, because many people expect one small machine in the corner to fix the air everywhere. That is usually not how these devices are designed to work. That also explains why air purifiers are only one part of the bigger indoor air picture. The EPA says the most effective ways to improve indoor air are still source control and ventilation. In plain English, that means first reduce the pollution source if you can, and second bring in cleaner outdoor air when possible. Filtration can help, but it is a supplement, not a full replacement for those other steps. What HEPA really means now to the most famous word in this category, HEPA. HEPA is not just a vague marketing buzzword. The EPA says it is a pleated mechanical air filter type, officially defined by the U.S. Department of Energy, that can theoretically remove at least 99.97% of airborne particles that are 0.3 microns in size. That number is repeated everywhere, but the part most people miss is why 0.3 microns is used. It is not because that is the smallest particle HEPA can trap. It is used because that size is considered the worst case, the most penetrating particle size. In other words, it is one of the hardest sizes to capture. Particles larger or smaller than that are trapped with even higher efficiency. That sounds backward at first. Most people imagine a filter working like a kitchen strainer, where only bigger things get blocked. But HEPA filters are not simple strainers. They are dense mats of tiny fibers arranged in a way that makes particles get caught for different reasons. Bigger particles are more likely to crash into fibers or brush against them as the air changes direction. Very tiny particles move more randomly and end up hitting fibers too. The mid-sized particles are often the trickiest ones, which is why that 0.3 micron number became the standard reference point. A simple way to picture this is to imagine running through a forest. If you are very big, you slam into trees. If you are very tiny and drifting around unpredictably, you still hit branches. But if you are just the right size and moving just the right way, you have the best chance of slipping through. That is the basic idea behind why HEPA filtration seems unintuitive but works so well. What air purifiers are good at removing, so what are these machines actually good at? The strongest use case is airborne particles. That includes things like dust, pollen, smoke particles, pet dander, and other particulate matter floating in room air. The CDC also includes portable HEPA systems as a useful way to enhance air cleaning in some settings, and the EPA says filtration can help reduce indoor particle pollution. That does not mean a purifier makes a room perfectly safe or instantly clean. It means it can meaningfully lower particle levels over time when it is the right size and used properly. And there is real-world evidence behind that. A 2024 pilot study listed on PubMed found that when portable air cleaners were on, hourly average particulate concentrations in homes went down, and higher filtration settings generally led to lower particulate levels in some homes. That is a useful reality check. The device is not performing a miracle. It is reducing the amount of particulate matter in the air people are actually breathing in real homes. What air purifiers are not good at removing this is the part many videos skip. No air cleaner removes everything. The EPA says that clearly. Many filters are designed mainly for particles, not gases. So if someone thinks a basic HEPA purifier will solve every odor, every chemical vapor, and every indoor air problem, that is simply not true. If the goal is gas removal, the EPA says you want an activated carbon filter or another absorbent filter designed for gases, and even then performance depends heavily on how much carbon is actually in the machine. Thick carbon can help. A tiny decorative carbon layer is a different story. This is also why smells can be confusing. A room can smell cleaner after particles drop, but odor control and gas removal are not the same thing as particle filtration. The EPA also notes that CADR ratings are for particles only, not gases, and that there are no widely used performance rating systems for residential portable air cleaners designed to remove gases. So when brands blur those categories together, that is where shoppers can get misled. There is another myth worth clearing up too. Some products sold as air cleaners intentionally produce ozone. EPA says no federal agency has approved ozone-generating devices for use in occupied spaces, and the agency warns that sellers have often made claims about safety and effectiveness that health professionals have refuted for a long time. That is a good reminder that not every machine sold under the air purifier label works the same way, or deserves the same level of trust. Why CADR matters more than most people think. Once you understand the basic fan plus filter idea, the next important concept is CADR, which stands for Clean Air Delivery Rate. AHM explains it as a measure of the volume of filtered air an air cleaner delivers, with separate scores for tobacco smoke, pollen, and dust. In simple terms, CADR helps answer the question, how much cleaned air can this machine actually deliver in a given amount of time? The higher the CADR, the faster the unit filters the air. This matters because a purifier can have a good filter but still clean a room slowly if it does not move enough air. That is one reason a small purifier in a large room often disappoints people. The EPA says to choose a portable air cleaner with a CADR large enough for the room or area where it will be used. AHM gives a simple rule of thumb. The CADR should be at least 2/3 of the room's area, assuming standard 8-foot ceilings. HEPA's consumer sizing chart works out to roughly the same logic. So a purifier is not just about the word HEPA. It is about HEPA plus enough airflow for the space. Why speed, time, and placement matter. Another common misunderstanding is that buying the machine is enough by itself. In practice, how you run it matters. The EPA says higher fan speeds and longer run times will generally increase the amount of air filtered. That sounds obvious, but people often buy a purifier, run it on the quietest setting for a short time, and then assume it is not working. In many cases, the machine is working, just not processing enough air fast enough to change the room dramatically. Placement matters too, even if people do not always think about it. A portable purifier is meant to clean the air in the room where it is operating. If the source of particles is in the bedroom and the purifier is in the hallway, results will be limited. The same goes for closed doors and large open floor plans. Portable units are local tools. They are not magical whole house force fields. A short history of HEPA and home air purifiers. The history is more interesting than many people expect. HEPA filtration was developed in the early 1940s and first used by the Manhattan Project to help contain airborne radioactive contaminants. It was then commercialized in the following decade and spread into places where very clean air mattered, including hospitals, aircraft, electronics manufacturing, aerospace, and nuclear facilities. In other words, the basic technology behind the home air purifier did not begin as a lifestyle gadget. It began as serious contamination control technology. Over time, that same basic logic moved into ordinary homes. Instead of protecting a clean room or a nuclear facility, the consumer version is trying to lower particle levels in a bedroom, office, nursery, or living room. The scale changed. The purpose changed. But the basic idea stayed the same: move air through a very efficient filter and repeat the cycle enough times to bring particle levels down. Myths versus reality. So let's clear up the biggest myths quickly. Myth 1. Air purifiers are just overpriced fans. Reality. They are fans, but the important part is that the fan is forcing air through a filter designed to capture particles very efficiently. The airflow and the filter have to work together. A fan alone just moves dirty air around. A purifier is trying to remove particles from that moving air. Myth 2. HEPA means it removes everything. Reality. HEPA is excellent for particles, but gases and odors are a different challenge and usually need a different filter medium such as activated carbon. Even then, no unit removes every pollutant. Myth 3. 0.3 microns is the smallest thing HEPA can catch. Reality. It is the hardest test point, not the absolute lower limit of performance. Larger and smaller particles can be trapped with even higher efficiency. Myth 4. Any purifier works in any room. Reality. Room size, CADR, fan speed, runtime, and placement all matter. A mismatched purifier can still be a real purifier and still be the wrong purifier for that space. Why this everyday machine matters. What makes this a good everyday object to understand is that it sits right at the intersection of marketing, science, and daily life. Almost everyone has seen one, many people own one, and a lot of people still do not know what it is actually doing. Once you understand the basic mechanism, the whole category becomes much less mysterious. You stop looking for miracle claims and start asking better questions. Is it sized for the room? Does it use real HEPA filtration? Does it include enough carbon if gas removal matters? Does it list a believable CADR? Is it meant for particles, gases, or both? Those are much smarter questions than just asking whether it is good. So in the end, an air purifier is not a magic box and it is not a scam by definition either. It is a simple machine built around a useful idea: move room air through a filter enough times to lower airborne particle levels. HEPA is the most famous part of that story, but HEPA alone is not the whole story. Room size matters. CADR matters. Runtime matters. Carbon matters if gases matter. And no purifier replaces the basics of removing pollution at the source and bringing in cleaner air when you can.